Let's get started with our first news. Alright, let's get this show going. Garry is accusing Belal Muhammad of avoiding a fight with him, and this back and forth has really been heating up the MMA world. Belal has been actively trying to secure a fight with Kamaru Usman, who is, of course, one of the most recognizable names in the welterweight division. Several weeks back, Belal actually opened the door to a potential bout with Garry at Madison Square Garden in November. He did it with a post on social media that instantly got people talking. Fans saw it as a genuine call out, and for a moment it looked like this fight might actually happen. But this week, Belal circled back to the topic while talking with MMA Junkie. He said he'd prefer to fight Usman, but if the former welterweight kingpin doesn't want it, he's ready to move on and face either Garry or Sean Brady. It sounded like he was keeping his options open while still trying to secure the biggest possible name. On Saturday, Garry wasn't having any of it. He fired back with a video he shared on social media, calling on Belal to agree to a fight on the UFC 319 card in August. He didn't hold back at all. Garry went straight for the jugular, saying Belal keeps calling out Kamaru Usman, even though Usman himself has made it very clear he's not fighting anytime soon. So why does Belal keep bringing up Usman's name? According to Garry, it's a deliberate tactic. He thinks Belal is avoiding him. Garry pointed out that Belal even started mentioning Sean Brady again, a man he already knocked out in the past. Garry found that completely ridiculous, asking how anyone could seriously call out someone they've already finished. He said, "Imagine calling out someone you've already knocked out," which is a pretty brutal line. He didn't stop there though. He insisted that if Belal had any real honor, he'd step up and fight him in Chicago, Belal's own hometown. Garry told him to do the right thing, to show respect for his own fans and not let them down. He ended the message with a direct, chilling promise: "I'll see you soon." Meanwhile, Belal Muhammad didn't stay silent. He responded in a pretty creative and savage way. He actually used ChatGPT to help generate his comeback, proving he's got both humor and strategy. Belal mocked Garry for trying to do what he called a Connor cosplay with Dollar Tree trash talk, suggesting Garry was a cheap imitation. He said Garry's lines hit softer than his jab, and compared him to a teenager who just discovered McGregor highlight reels. It was a rough takedown designed to humiliate him. Belal didn't stop there. He taunted Garry even more, telling him that if he wants to outbox him in the cage, he should first try to out-talk him without embarrassing himself. He finished it off with one last savage shot, telling him to go back to rehearsing in the mirror, and maybe, just maybe, one day his trash talk would be as sharp as his barber's fade. It was clever, cutting, and had fans laughing, but it also added even more heat to what's quickly becoming one of the most talked about potential matchups in the division. Both men have made their positions crystal clear, and if the UFC books this fight, it's guaranteed to be personal, intense, and absolutely must watch. Now let's move on. Daniel Cormier is ready to get back in shape, and fans everywhere are excited to see him embark on this new journey. In a recent Instagram post that quickly made waves across social media, Cormier revealed he's committing to a 45-day workout challenge designed to shed some extra weight and improve his overall fitness. This isn't just a casual plan either. He's got real structure, accountability, and the support of a professional coach. He's teaming up with fitness expert Jason Khalipa to guide him through the entire process. Khalipa is well known in the fitness world, and his experience will ensure that Cormier is pushed to his limits safely and effectively. It's not just about dropping pounds, but about regaining that competitive edge that made Cormier such a dominant force in MMA for years. Cormier was refreshingly open about everything in the video he shared. He addressed his followers directly, saying, "Hey, we're gonna film something together. This is my boy Jason Khalipa. 45 days. I'm getting back in shape, getting back to work. Me and this dude going at it, right?" You could see the determination in his eyes, but there was also that trademark Cormier humor that fans love. He went on to explain his plan for the day, which included some sparring and serious weight training. Jason's job isn't just to cheer him on, it's to hold him accountable, push him, and make sure every session counts. Cormier joked about getting back to what he called 205 DC, a nod to his time as a champion in the light heavyweight division. Even though he admitted it's not entirely realistic, it was clear he's setting ambitious goals for himself. In true Cormier style, he poked fun at himself, talking about needing to lose some of that big sexy. He laughed about how he's been giving fans way too much sexiness on the broadcast lately and said they're trying to help him look just a little bit better on camera. But despite the jokes, the message was clear. This is about more than vanity. It's about health, consistency, and feeling strong again. He emphasized that the key to the whole challenge is consistency, showing up every single day, even when it's tough, losing a few pounds, and simply feeling great again. It's a goal that resonates with so many people who know how easy it is to fall out of shape once you step away from a demanding athletic career. Cormier added with a big laugh that Jason is going to torture him over the next 45 days. He even joked about trying to knock Jason out 10 times during training. Jason, quick on the comeback, told Cormier that right now he probably could. Their banter was easygoing and genuine, but beneath the laughs there was clear mutual respect and a shared commitment to the goal. It's the kind of relatable move that reminds fans why they love Cormier so much. He's not pretending to be perfect. He's open about the struggles of staying fit after retiring from MMA. By sharing this journey so publicly, he's sure to inspire countless people who are also trying to get back into shape themselves. It's honest, it's real, and it shows once again why Cormier remains one of the sport's most respected and beloved figures. Moving on, Alex Pereira recently celebrated his 38th birthday in style, and as expected, he did it with the perfect mix of energy, class, and a bit of that Poitin swagger that fans have come to love. The celebration kicked off early with a party on Saturday, just ahead of his actual birthday on July 7th. Known for being both a fierce competitor in the octagon and a humble, grounded personality outside of it, Pereira's birthday bash was the perfect representation of who he is. He showed up in style, arriving alongside Nana Drama. The two made a statement, and it wasn't long before the internet caught wind of it. Nana shared several clips from the event on her social media, and those clips quickly started making the rounds. Fans were treated to a behind-the-scenes look at the festivities. There was laughter, there was dancing, and most importantly, there was a real sense of joy and celebration. Everyone in the room looked like they were having a great time, and Pereira himself seemed relaxed, happy, and fully present in the moment. It was a classic Pereira event, low-key but polished, full of good vibes, with just the right amount of flair to remind everyone that he's not just a champion in the cage, but also a winner in life. There weren't any over-the-top antics, no extravagant displays, just real moments with friends, family, and people who care about him. At 38, Pereira continues to be one of the most inspiring figures in combat sports. Whether he's knocking opponents out cold or simply enjoying a night out with loved ones, he brings the same authenticity and intensity. Fans love to see fighters embrace life outside the cage, and Pereira knows exactly how to mark a big milestone while staying true to who he is. It was a night that celebrated not just another year, but the journey, the legacy, and the man behind the legend. Now let's talk about Tony Ferguson. He's back, but this time it's not in the octagon, and fans everywhere are buzzing about it. In a recent interview with Red Corner MMA, Ferguson announced that he's officially making his boxing debut. It's not just a casual idea either. He's already set to fight on August 30th. Though he hasn't yet revealed who his opponent will be, it's clear he's dead serious about making the transition. In the interview, Ferguson spoke with his usual intensity and passion, saying, "Right now I have a fight on August 30th. I want to be boxing and will be boxing. I can't tell you who yet, but I will be boxing, and I'm slowly making my way there." It wasn't just hype. Ferguson explained that for him, one win can change everything. That kind of victory is all it takes to build momentum and remind everyone why he's one of the most unforgettable fighters in the game. He was adamant that he's not retired, dismissing that word completely. He said firmly, "I don't use that word. I'm still competing." He also took a moment to remind everyone that while he might be 41, he doesn't see that as a limitation at all. In fact, he claimed he's still faster than anyone else in the gym, still hungry to test himself, and still more dedicated than many younger fighters out there. Ferguson wasn't shy about boasting that he can do more pull-ups, more push-ups, and any kind of calisthenics better than anyone else in the room. He even brought up his experience with David Goggins' infamous Hell Week, saying people tend to forget about that part of his journey, but that it shaped him into who he is today. He insisted that both his mind and body are at an A+ level right now. He emphasized that he's sharp and getting even sharper every day. He described himself as an athlete in the truest sense, ready to try multiple sports, not just boxing, but also professional baseball. That ambition makes perfect sense for someone who's always been known for pushing the limits. Ferguson said, I'm doing my first boxing professional fight. I'm going to be doing pro grappling. I am actually one of the combat jiu-jitsu pioneers. It was invented at my camp in Big Bear with Eddie. We made that and then it went mainstream." For Ferguson, the challenge of switching sports is exactly what keeps him motivated. He's always been unpredictable, always willing to try new things and prove himself in different arenas. Fans wouldn't expect anything less from El Cucuy. It's clear he wants to stay active, stay relevant, and continue pushing himself in new directions. It's classic Tony, bold, defiant, and unafraid to take risks. And for fight fans everywhere, it's another reason to keep watching, because with Tony Ferguson, you never know exactly what's coming next, but you can bet it will be unforgettable. Now let's circle back to Belal Muhammad's response to Ian Garry's trash talk. Belal didn't hold back at all. In fact, he delivered one of the most creative and savage comebacks we've seen in a while. He decided to use ChatGPT to help craft his response, making it clear he was going to humiliate Garry's attempt at mimicking Conor McGregor's style. It was a move that got plenty of attention, both for its originality and its brutality. Belal knew exactly what he was doing. By pointing out that Garry's trash talk felt cheap, like Dollar Tree trash talk, he was basically calling him a discount imitation of someone much better at it. It was a direct shot at Garry's whole approach to hyping the fight. Belal didn't stop there. He went on to say that Garry's lines hit softer than his jab. That one stung because it's not just an insult about his words, but a dig at his fighting skills too. He was suggesting that Garry isn't just bad at trash talk, he's not even that dangerous in the cage. And then came the comparison that really sealed the deal. Belal likened Garry to a teenager who just discovered McGregor highlight reels. The message was clear. Garry was acting like a fan trying to imitate his idol rather than being original or authentic. Belal was calling him out for being a pretender, someone who hasn't developed his own voice or style yet. He also taunted Garry about trying to outbox him. Belal pointed out that before Garry could even think about beating him in the cage, he should try to out-talk him without embarrassing himself. That was a pretty harsh reality check, making it clear that Belal thinks Garry is nowhere near his level, in or out of the octagon. And Belal wasn't finished. He suggested Garry should go back to practicing his lines in front of the mirror. It was a devastating putdown, basically saying Garry's trash talk was so poorly rehearsed that he should keep working on it privately before trying it on a real audience. Then to top it all off, Belal delivered one last cutting line. He said that maybe one day Garry's trash talk would be as sharp as his barber's fade. That's the kind of insult that's both personal and clever. It had just the right amount of humor and bite to really land with fans, making it one of those lines that gets shared and quoted over and over. It was clever, biting, and exactly the kind of banter that keeps fans engaged and talking. The back and forth between these two has created genuine heat. Both men are talking a big game, and it seems almost inevitable they'll end up having to settle it in the octagon. Fans can't wait to see if all this trash talk will actually lead to a fight, and who will back it up when the cage door closes. Now let's talk about another story that's causing a lot of frustration for fans. UFC 318 just lost a major fight and fans are angry. Just 2 weeks before fight night, UFC 318 suffered a significant blow. A highly anticipated welterweight bout between Gunnar Nelson and Neil Magny was officially removed from the lineup due to injury. The announcement sparked even more frustration among fans who were already criticizing the pay-per-view event for its underwhelming depth beyond the headline bout. UFC 318 is scheduled for July 19th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. It's headlined by a lightweight showdown between fan favorites Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway. This is Poirier's retirement fight, which is why the UFC strategically placed the event in his home state. While the main event promises fireworks and emotional closure for one of the sport's most respected veterans, the rest of the card has failed to generate much enthusiasm. Some fans are even calling it the worst PPV lineup in recent UFC history. One user wrote on X, "This card is an embarrassment to the organization, and the fans deserve better." That sentiment only deepened when news broke about Nelson's injury. He confirmed on Instagram that he sustained 2 separate issues in the same leg, a grade 2B tear in the hamstring muscle and a much more serious grade 4C full-thickness tear in the tendon embedded in that muscle. The severity of the tendon injury makes it impossible for Nelson to do any form of grappling or kicking for the foreseeable future. He admitted he's absolutely useless right now when it comes to grappling scenarios. He expects it will be at least 8 weeks until he can comfortably train at full speed. Fortunately, he won't require surgery, and he hopes to return by the end of the year. While the fight between Nelson and Magny wasn't a title eliminator, it was a veteran-laden matchup that added crucial name recognition and stylistic intrigue to a lackluster card. Neil Magny is the most experienced UFC fighter on the event, with 34 octagon appearances. He's often served as a litmus test for rising welterweights. Meanwhile, Gunnar Nelson is a seasoned grappler with 16 UFC bouts. He's long been considered one of the division's most technical fighters. Their clash was expected to deliver strategy and grit. As of now, it's unclear if Magny will remain on the card with a short notice replacement or be removed entirely. If he's scratched, UFC 318 loses even more credibility with fans who are already vocal about their dissatisfaction. Now the burden falls almost entirely on Poirier versus Holloway to carry UFC 318. It's a tall task even for two of the sport's most beloved athletes. The UFC hasn't announced any replacement bout or changes to the lineup yet, but one thing is certain, the promotion has some serious damage control to do ahead of July 19th.